Welcome to the RVA Small Business Show, your number one resource for business growth education, insights, and news. Let's get today's show started.
Welcome to the RVA Small Business Show exclusively on the RVA Small Business Network. I'm Corey Mosley, your host for today's show. Many times in business, we have a tendency to jump right in to the structural or technical aspects of things, like sales processes, marketing plans, or people management. Now, of course, all of these things are important, but what about maintaining a proper mindset and understanding how to benefit from a continuous personal and professional development strategy? Our guest today helps entrepreneurs tell their stories, create products to support their message, and complete the journey. I'm excited to welcome to the studio Sir Charles Cary, keynote speaker, trainer, and coach. Sir Charles, welcome to the show.
Corey, thanks for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I've got a stack of your books here. You're a highly published author and have done a lot of great things in the marketplace. Now, for our viewers who may not be familiar with us,
right,
give us a little bit about your background. What's your story?
Man, I had a tough background. I guess, I can't complain in a sense, but at the same time, yes, I can complain. I learned the hard way. I went to the school of hard knocks, and then I graduated from Bricks University, or went to Bricks University and graduated from the school of hard knocks. No matter how you slice it, I did a lot of messing up. I made a lot of bad decisions, and that's what led me to where I am today. I was a substance abuser for over 20 some odd years, and just when you think everything is fine, you land on your feet, you're ready to start living life on life's terms, the rug gets pulled from underneath, and you come to find you've got cancer. So I had so many things, so many challenges going on, and that really positioned me to really take a serious look at who I am, where I am, and where I need to go.
Okay. Well, you've unpacked a lot there just in that opening, So the work that you're doing now in terms of mindset and personal development, what's been the guiding principle for that? One of the things that you're known for is this statement, radiate the brain, change the game. What is that about?
Well, I think in many ways, tradition is played. Tradition is like so passé, yet we do need the foundation of what tradition stands for, what it represents. But I believe that a lot of business owners, whether they're conglomerates or just government agencies, they're conducting business in a fashion that is really not, how would I say, it's not beneficial to the employees or to the agency as a whole. They're doing things the way they used to do in the 40s and 50s, whereas times have changed. People's needs have changed, and really people need to be given a fair shake for what they really can bring to the table.
Okay. From a mindset perspective, what are some of the things that you think people get wrong, right, when thinking about their opinions, their processes, or just kind of what their overall approach to me, when they're running a business?
Well, I think a lot of people that you have on the front desk, they probably need to be in the stock room doing the inventory. And the people that are doing inventory probably should be your first meet people. They should be the ones that represent the agency, the department, because they have the people skills. They have the right presence of mind. Now, the other people, they have a benefit as well, and they can be trained. You can always, cross-train. However, your natural innate abilities, talents, skills, those things should be at the forefront for each and every individual.
Okay. Now, when I hear you talking about a little bit about employee development, so it seems like there's some employee development there too. As a business owner, though, right? Or as an entrepreneur, as a small business owner, how do I get a better mindset? Or how do I even know if I've got some challenges in the personal development or professional development space in my head?
Well, I know it's kind of challenging because sometimes we have a need, we want to fill that need. So we do that. We hire someone and we put them in that position, not really knowing, can they excel? Do they represent me, the brand, et cetera, et cetera. But you have to have an opportunity to build rapport. In my book, Radiate the Brain and Change the Game, I talk about how you can interview people solely with the purpose of finding out where their skill sets serve your company best. And I think that's where the ball is dropped many times. People want the best, but they don't want to invest in their people to get the best, and they don't do the work to try to identify those skill sets in those various individuals to place them in the best position. So it's a catch-22 on either side, but you have to do your due diligence as a boss, just as the employee has to do their due diligence to stay gainfully employed.
Right. And when I think about that, I'm thinking about, the business owner that's saying, I've got all these hats that I'm wearing already. If you were going to go into an organization and work with whether a CEO or a small business owner, maybe they have a team of 5, or maybe they're even a solopreneur, where do you start when helping someone kind of manage their mindset or assess what their thinking is?
I think a small organization is best because now you have an opportunity to see that person more often, observe their personality traits, habits, and so forth. But I have a thing called being open, honest, clear, and direct. With a small group, you have an easier opportunity of assessing this person. Do they really fit the mark? Are they really focused, or is this just a pit stop to their next opportunity? Now, of course, in a much larger organization, it's a little more difficult, but that's where your training department comes in. If your training department is trained with the idea of sharing and teaching the skills that are needed, you can shape and mold people better to fit where they serve the organization best. So, you really have to be willing to invest time and resources for your organization to grow.
Okay. From a keynote, let's talk about keynote speaking for a second. That's one of the things that you do. If I was sitting in a Sir Charles Cary keynote, what type of information am I hearing? What is that experience like for someone?
Again, I'll go back to the book set, right? Radiate the Brain and Change the Game talks about many of the things that happen to us that we really don't see coming. And those things prevent us from being our best selves. And what's so hard about being you focuses on the things that we do to ourselves that prevent us from being better. So I try to focus on 2 things important: what you can do to overcome the things that you, I would say, trip yourself up with, and the things that come at you that you may not even see. You're blindsided. Something happens unexpectedly or otherwise. How do you overcome these scenarios so that you can still come out sort of as a shining star?
Okay. Well, I want to hear more. So what are some of the tips that you would share if you were doing a keynote presentation? What might some of those takeaways be?
I talk about the point of mistakes, for example. Mistakes, many people look at as a bad thing, something negative. Well, mistakes are good learning. It's a good learning opportunity. But who wants to make a mistake? Nobody. Yeah. So most of the times when we make mistakes, we shy away from it. Hence, we don't get the lesson because we don't want to deal with it. Risk and fear. You have to have risk in life so that you understand what you're really wagering, what's at stake to benefit you. Like we're sitting on these chairs. That's a risk. We don't know what's going to hold us, but we still sit there without even giving it a second thought.
Right.
So we talk about things like that. And with, I think it's my other book, Aligned by Design, I talk about critical in-depth analysis. And that's speaking to the fact that how hard or how tough can you be on you? You're the one that makes the decisions, and you're the one that has to stand behind them. So if you're not making good decisions, can you really look at yourself and say, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have said that. I should redirect my actions or my energy so that I can get a better result. So I talk about many things that are obvious, but easily overlooked.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of times for people, one of those big things, right? It's the aha moment, but sometimes the aha moment comes within the obvious.
Yeah.
Now,
so
you
true.
talked, in your opening story, you shared, something I'm sure now it's much easier to share, some of your history today than it was maybe 25 years ago.
Right.
How many years ago? But there obviously was a difference between those challenges and struggles that you shared and now getting to a position to educate people, motivate people, and do this work that you're doing now. Mm-hmm. What is the driver for this work today?
Well, I know for myself, when I was coming up, I wanted to fit in so badly. So I made a lot of decisions based on being popular, being with the cool kids, wanting to prove that I knew how to do all these things that were not really substantially important. And I did. I got so good at it that I was burying myself alive. And when I looked up, I was literally in a hole. I was down so low that I didn't think I'd ever change my circumstances. And that's pretty much a very similar thing that people experience today. If we look at the news every morning, someone's being killed, someone's car is being carjacked, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now you would say, well, these things happen. Yes, but look at the numbers. And then you have to ask yourself, why are these things happening so greatly? People don't have any hope. People feel like they're just left out. They're not a second thought. They have no options. However, if you realize that you have a gift inside of you, if you realize that there's more to you than what someone told you or what you've seen, that you can be still, be quiet, you'll find that there's a gem waiting to be shined. And, a lot of people, we just, look at our circumstances, and I'll be quite honest with you, Corey. I think that a lot of people have just simply given up. So they make bad decisions repeatedly. And then when they land in prison or a rehab or someplace like that, they take it as, oh, well, and they don't try to do anything different to change their circumstances. And since I've seen this on a large scale, when I go out to speak to government agencies or even community groups, I try to emphasize, if I've come from the situation that I've come from, substance abuse from over 25 some odd years, that's a quarter of a century. Cancer, 2-time cancer survivor. If I've overcome these things, I've been in movies, I've been in reality shows, I've recorded music, I've done so many different things, being in motion pictures. If I've done these things on the back half of my life, what can you not do? Yeah. Just give yourself a shot.
Well, I think it's important. I mean, people, there's different attitudes about motivation, but motivation is truly something that is always needed. Business owners right now are faced with this idea of maybe starting a new business, starting a new venture.
Right.
Or, maybe what I'm doing right now is not going right, not going the way that I want. So you're the mindset guy. What advice do you have for people that may be in that rut, that may be questioning whether they should keep going or should they give up or do something different? Maybe they're not getting supported at home. All these different things that go through the head of a business owner. What advice do you have for them right now?
Well, due to the fact that we're at this point in the year that we're at, a lot of people say, I want to make a New Year's resolution, and in January, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. Why not focus on a New Year's solution versus a New Year's resolution? And why do you have to wait? And most of us get caught up in the waiting and the wanting and watching what other people do. And this is the key. You need to learn how to be uncomfortable. That's by design, or it should be. Because if you can learn to accept the discomfort, understand once you become comfortable in that area, whatever it is, one thing, two things or more, once you master that level of discomfort, guess what? There's another level of discomfort waiting for you. So let's master one thing at a time. And then when we get good at it, we can move on to the next thing. And so if you're trying to start a business, gradually you'll see the improvement in yourself and your business, and you'll be able to accept the fact that it's about the growth. Like we talk all the time on stages across the world. The journey is the blessing. It's not about the end result. It's about experiencing the journey and enjoying the journey. Because if I gave you $1 million and you blew it, you wouldn't know how to get another $1 million.
That is absolutely true. Before I let you go, we've got some great books here that you've written. We've got 4 books here. So if someone was considering getting started and coming into the Sir Charles Cary world, the ecosystem, which one of the books do you recommend people start with?
If they couldn't get the whole pack, which I tell you, buy 4, you get them for the price of 3. I would suggest Radiate the Brain and Change the Game. However, some people, have different opinions. They think What's So Hard About Being You is the star of the series. And all of these books are interactive, which means that you write down your thoughts in the book. I challenge you by asking questions in each and every book that I've written. And that way it becomes your own personal resource. And if you go through it once, you can look back on it in a week, a month, or maybe even a year and say, you know what, I've grown since then. Wow, my answers are different, because some of the books come with workbooks, audio programs, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay. Wow, fantastic. Looks like there's something for everybody here. People that want to grow the mindset and get their mind right.
You know, one phenomenal thing, let me just say this before we end. I shared these books with millennials and with boomers, and they both said the same thing. I see myself in your writing. And I was just blown away. I was totally shocked, because you never know what people are going to say about something you create. And when I had boomers and millennials tell me the same thing, I'm like, they're saying the same, using the same word and same language to express their feelings about what they've read and how they, assess this work. And I think that speaks a lot to the person with everyday issues in our common world. We all can relate to the same things. We all want the same things. So I think there's something for everyone.
Well, it sounds like you might be on to something, Sir Charles. Thank you for joining the show today.
Corey, I appreciate it. Thanks again.
Absolutely. For more information on the speaking, training, and coaching services that Sir Charles Cary provides, please contact him directly at 301-254-2275 or via email at info@sircharlescary.com. This has been another episode of the RVA Small Business Show, RVA's only online streaming video network dedicated to small business growth, education, trends, and news. I'm Corey Mosley, and I will see you next time.
This has been another episode of the RVA Small Business Show, presented by the RVA